What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA show. And in this video, we are going to address the question of who is the real duck. Now, if you've been following along on our channel, I've made multiple videos defending Jon Jones when he wanted to follow through with his scheduled bout against Stipe Miocic, which was scheduled by the UFC. Everybody loved it when he made the call out, but then after he suffered a horrendous injury, ripping his pectoral muscle, a huge tear in his pectoral muscle, he had to postpone the fight. He went through recovery. Nobody's even talking about that, by the way. He went through this long recovery. He was able to come back and had a flawless, amazing performance against Stipe Miocic. But then everybody's obsessed with this whole notion of him ducking Tom Aspinall, who he never called out, who the UFC never asked him to fight. So people have been going on and on about Jon Jones being a duck. Yet Colby Covington is sliding by unnoticed. And so this has prompted this video, which is posing the question to everybody. I think we all know the answer. Who is the real duck? Why is Jon Jones getting all this attention? I do think it has to do with a lot of the MMA YouTube community coming down on Jon Jones. Maybe that's been spurred on by people like MMA Guru and other folks who've really been piling onto Jon Jones. Unfairly so, in my opinion, because again, he was just following through with a previously scheduled bout that the UFC wanted him to fight. And by the way, he might fight Tom Aspinall now. They're in negotiation as we speak. That very well may happen. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Jon Jones goes out and beats Tom Aspinall. But anyways, the point of this video is to shed some light and some clarity for all you fans out there onto who is the real duck, who really is deserving of being called a quote-unquote duck. I don't think it's Jon Jones. Now, to begin this video, I want to play this clip from Kamaru Usman. If you guys haven't checked out their show, Pound for Pound, becoming one of my favorite MMA YouTube shows on YouTube. It's amazing. And actually, you really get to see who Kamaru Usman is on this show. He really reveals his true self and his true intelligence about the fight game. And I love listening to him. And he actually gives Henry Cejudo a lot of crap, which is also really funny. But man, Kamaru knows this game very, very well. So I want to start off first with a clip of Kamaru Usman addressing this entire situation with Jon Jones. So you don't just hear it from me, but listen to a former champ. He's a champ. Okay, maybe former champ, but he's a champ. He defended that belt multiple times. He went in on short notice to fight Khamzat Chimaev, the greatest fighter in the entire UFC, which was legendary. So he gets mad props for that. The reason why he's bringing this up is because people are saying he's quote unquote ducking Shavkat Rakhmonov, which I know he said he was interested in that fight, but I think people need to give him more credit and should not be saying that Kamaru Usman is ducking anybody, because I think he's earned the right to choose his next fight JDM if he wants or whoever, because he did take that Khamzat Chimaev fight on 10 days notice, which is insane. And he still performed very, very well. So he's earned that respect, and he's earned, in my opinion, that ability to choose his next opponent. But anyways, let's play this clip, and we're going to hear, not from me, but hear Kamaru Usman's thoughts on Jon Jones. Here we go.
I'm seeing online people go, "Oh, you scared? You duck him? You duck him? You scared? You scared?" Like, what? What? Exactly. I'm like, wait, what? What? This is the same sentiment that I feel like people are doing to Jon Jones. It's just like when people where you're fans or fans of a fighter don't get their desired wish that they want. That's the fight I want. And it's like, oh no, that guy must be scared because he didn't take the fight. Like, guys, shut up. Shut up. Yeah. We step in there each and every time. I have 25 or 22 or 25 fights. I don't know. I don't know how many fights. But you think everyone, oh, you scared. Yeah, okay. World champion and defending belts time and time again. Oh, he's scared. Yeah. Shut up. Just because you didn't get what you wanted. Yeah. Guess what? It's like your mom telling you, no, you can't have that toy today. You know, you can't have that toy. So shut your mouth. Instead, we got a banging fight. We've got Shavkat Rakhmonov.
So there you go. There's the point. And I think that's what it is. Fans just are upset and cranky. I guess for some reason they got it in their minds that they really are dying to see this Jon Jones fight versus Tom Aspinall, which still might happen. And again, I don't even think it's true fan sentiment. I think that was the zeitgeist being pushed in a particular direction by really influential people like MMA Guru, who really just does not like Jon Jones whatsoever. And so all this momentum went in this direction. Now everybody thinking that he's ducking Tom Aspinall when that fight was scheduled well before Tom Aspinall had the interim belt. I've talked about this so many times. I feel like I'm totally beating a dead horse, but I just want to show this Kamaru Usman clip backing me up. And again, I think it comes down to the fact that fans didn't get what they wanted or what they thought they wanted, but that was an amazing fight. we're probably still going to, I think we're going to get that Tom Aspinall fight, but I do not care if we don't get it because Jon Jones has done so many tremendous things in his career as a fighter. And you're probably a new fan, if you're one of these people that has been screaming about wanting Jon Jones to fight Tom Aspinall, go back and watch all of his fights back to back. Watch them all full. Don't watch a highlight clip. Watch all of Jon Jones' fights. Watch everything he's done and everything he's gone through. Even if you want to say he lost the Dominic Reyes fight, which was a very close fight, by the rules that have been established by the UFC, he won that fight because the judges gave him that fight. But even if you want to say he lost that fight, who cares? His legacy and his record is still unbelievable and still the greatest record of all time, the greatest run of all time. So anyways, I just want to start with this. Now, Jon Jones is a duck? No. Who's the real duck? Let's talk about that right now. So if you guys remember back in the day, okay, so again, just to contrast it with Jon Jones, Jon Jones never called out Tom Aspinall, never said he wanted that fight. He never agreed to it and then pulled out all of a sudden. He was wanting to fight Stipe from the get-go, but then he had the injury. Tom Aspinall came in. You know the story. Let's contrast that with Colby Covington, who is becoming the least favorite fighter in the UFC. So if we rewind it back, this says 8 months ago, but I don't remember exactly when this was. He fought, if I remember correctly, Leon Edwards back in January of this year. So almost like about 11 months ago. And I think it was either prior to the Leon or maybe after. I can't remember when he started calling out Colby Covington, or sorry, calling out Ian Garry. But watch this video. So Colby made this addressing Ian Garry. And just to refresh your memory, here we go.
Ian Garry, you translucent cut. You wanted my attention? Now you got it. Everybody knows why you want to fight me, Ian. I'm the biggest star in the division. It's big city, bright lights, and the most attention and eyes you're ever going to have on you when it fight. But everybody knows, Ian, you missed your chance. You had your chance in December to step on the same stage as me and have a microphone and say whatever you want to say to me. But you were scared. You were scared of what I was going to say to you, and you got the sniffles, and you cried your way out. That was just a taste.
And by the way, he's talking about the presser when he was fighting Leon Edwards. And at that presser, Colby had a lot of material, I guess, that was aimed towards Ian Garry. And Ian Garry came down with a really, really bad sickness. I think like a really terrible flu that week. And that was also at the time when Ian Garry was getting a tremendous amount of hate online, directed towards him, directed towards his wife. I think it was pretty horrible, actually. They were, it must have been terrible. I think they were getting targeted and just blasted with tons and tons of hate. And Ian Garry was even at one point worried about the safety of his family when they were coming in for the UFC event. So he was probably under a tremendous amount of pressure, I'm sure, that compromised his immune system. But anyways, he ended up not showing up to that press conference, and Colby Covington still had material prepared to attack Ian Garry and was still going off on him. So I think Colby at that time maybe was thinking about lining up the Ian Garry fight after the Leon Edwards fight. So he was already so maybe at that time he wanted to fight him. And then I think thereafter he changed his mind for whatever reason, maybe then realizing, hey, this is a tough matchup, a tough fight, whatever it may be. But let's keep listening.
So what I could do to you, Ian? All I did was ask the 5,000 people in attendance how many people banged your wife. It's not my fault every single one of them rose their hand. If you're scared of that, Ian, if you're scared of words, what do you think it's going to be like when you step in a steel cage with chaos? You just went life and death with a guy that does this part-time and is a busboy Outback. Dude serves bloomin' onions for a living, and you went to a split decision with that guy? Now you want Donald Trump's favorite fighter? That's a big step up in competition, Junior. You're biting off more than you can chew. You know what? I'm a giving man. I'm a kind man. I like to give everyone a chance. So everybody knows, Ian, what's in it for you. But what's in it for me? Tell me, why do I got to go down in the rankings to fight some Casper the Ghost-looking Irish kid who has a gold-digging wife? Let me teach you the art of the deal, Ian. Let's come to a compromise. If you can meet these 3 stipulations, we got to fight. Stipulation number 1. You and that gold-digging whore got to turn your Instagram.
And then he's got these really stupid stipulations. By the way, look how many jump cuts he does in this whole promo video. So it's like he must have had to do like a million takes and then splice it all together, which is just kind of funny. But then he goes into, so he's talking all this smack. So just keep this in your mind. He's talking all this smack back then, and he's going at his family and his wife, right? Which I think a lot of fighters would agree that, that's pretty low. But now watch. Then he gives these stupid 3 stipulations. But this is the point where I think he already didn't want to fight Ian Garry, because he's saying, I'll fight you, Ian Garry, if you satisfy these three stipulations, which were ridiculous. And obviously Ian Garry's never going to satisfy the stipulations, because just listen.
Comments back on. And if you turn them off before the fight, you forfeit the fight. If you turn them off during fight week or after I beat your ass, you forfeit your purse.
At this point, they had turned their Instagram comments off because they were receiving a ton of hate. This is when the book about how to be a wife of a athlete, or whatever that term is. It's like a British term, where she had written that book, which was a satire, but then everybody was going off on her and saying she's a gold digger, and she wrote a book on how to be a gold digger and all this stuff. But it was a satirical book, so it was meant to be a joke, right? Like, oh, this is how you go and get an athlete to marry you and whatever. But it was meant to be a joke. So anyways.
Stipulation number 2. Ian, we've heard you cry and beg on your knees, but we all know that you're not the boss and you don't wear the pants in the relationship. Layla, you got 60 seconds to convince me and the people why this fight needs to happen. So put your husband in the corner, get on your hands and knees, and beg.
Like, come on. Do you think she would ever do that, or Ian Garry would ever want that? I mean, this is ridiculous. Obviously, he knows Ian Garry is not going to follow that. Like, it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid.
Now for stipulation number 3, my personal favorite. As you all might have noticed, something's been missing from my MyBookie promos lately. That's because I've been saving that spot for a special someone. Layla, you want to be a star? You want the spotlight? I got it for you, sweetie. You want your 15 seconds of fame, Layla? I'll give you your 15 seconds of fame right here for America's Pick of the Week. After I beat your husband, because that's a foregone conclusion, I will beat him. He's going to sit in the corner just like he does with all that cuck stuff you guys do, and he's going to watch while you get your 15 seconds of fame. Ball's in your court now, cuck boy. I'll have my lawyers draft up the papers. You got 24 hours to respond. We'll see if you're about that life.
So this is, I mean, a lot of really terrible smack talk, bringing in his family, bringing in his fiance, I think now his wife, and just saying horrendous things. But you say all that, and then you just seem to go away and not fight him when Ian Garry has been calling for this fight for so long. Colby claimed that he couldn't fight Ian Garry last time. I think when Ian Garry fought Michael Venom Page, he wanted to fight Colby, but Colby claimed that he had a broken foot. And Ian Garry addresses that in this interview, which was ridiculous, how long his quote-unquote foot fracture lasted before it was healed. So he didn't want to fight him then. And then I think Ian Garry wanted, I think he talks about it here too, he wanted to fight again. So again, just remember, and that was one video. Colby talked way more smack about Ian Garry at the press conference and other interviews, just ad nauseum, all of this smack talk. And he again wanted to fight him. Colby wouldn't take the fight, and then they scheduled Ian Garry against Joaquin Buckley, who's now fighting Colby, which is insane. So he got the fight against Joaquin Buckley, which didn't even make sense because Ian Garry's fighting down in the rankings, which is undefeated, a hot prospect. He should be fighting up in the rankings, but nobody wanted to fight him. Colby would have been the perfect fight, and he should have fought him because of all that smack talk. But maybe you could say like Colby was unavailable. But then now Ian Garry is slotted in for Shavkat. Who did they slot in for Joaquin Buckley? They swap in Colby. So Colby accepted the fight against Joaquin Buckley. Like, this is insane. Clearly, the Ian Garry versus Colby Covington fight would do so well. There's been so much buildup for that, but he doesn't want to do it now. So just to give you context, this is complete insanity. So I cannot believe, and I hope you guys think about this. If you're one of those people that were piling onto Jon Jones, think about this. Why are you not piling onto Colby? This is insanity. This is a totally different situation where Colby was the one pushing for the fight, talking so much smack, and then he's nowhere to be seen. So now hear Ian Garry's take on this. This is amazing.
And so now here's the question I'm dying to ask you. When all these dominoes fell and you were then booked to fight Shavkat and Joaquin was left without a dance partner.
Oh, don't. I know where you're going. I'm seething.
And you found out that it was in fact going to be Colby stepping in on the same day. What was your reaction?
Well, Ariel, how do you think I feel? Because I've been screaming and shouting about fighting that man from the rafters. This man's made videos about me, my wife, my kids, talked to him about all this shit. And here's this man avoiding me like the plague. And then the second I book in against the scariest man in the division, he's like, oh, I'll fight in Florida. It just proves, it just shows that he's a coward, that he wants nothing to do with me. And the truth is, I know I've already beaten him. I know I've already mentally beaten him. He's weak. He's an absolute coward. And I believe he's going to go out there and get steamrolled by Joaquin Buckley.
You think Buckley beats him? Easy.
I think Buckley starches him. But you know what I'd love, Ariel? You know what I would love? I would love this. All right. Here's my ideal scenario. I go out there December 7th. And I take out Shavkat early. I come out of there unscathed, uninjured. I get on the mic and I sit down and I say, hey, I could wait until next year when Bilal Muhammad's back. Or Dana Hunt, the UFC, I could walk my ass all the way down to Florida, and I could beat the bollocks out of Colby Covington for 25 minutes, and I can prove how good I am next week, because that man talks a lot, but he's not willing to back it up. That would be my deal. I would love to beat Shavkat and the following week fight as the main event in Tampa and bury Colby Covington and leave him dead and done in that octagon, never to be seen again.
So Ian Garry, just to summarize this video and to end it all here, look, Ian Garry's gotten a lot of hate for whatever reason, for a multitude of reasons. Maybe some people don't like his brand of trash talk. Maybe some people find him arrogant. Whatever you may say about Ian Garry, he has taken on the toughest fight, I think, in this division that pretty much nobody wants. Bilal was calling for it. Respect to Bilal. He wanted to fight Shavkat. And that's what he said time and time again. I believe that Bilal believes that he could beat Shavkat as well. But Ian Garry is coming up and fighting Shavkat, which isn't even for an interim title, and he's got an undefeated record. He's a hot prospect. He does have a pretty big fan base, but he's stepping up and taking this fight. More importantly, he was stepping up to take the Joaquin Buckley fight. So you got to give mad respect to Ian Garry, because whether or not you like or dislike his personality, man, he's got amazing self-belief. He's got balls, and he's willing to back up what he's saying. Whereas if we see on the other side, right, Colby talks all the stuff with all these jump cuts and all his videos that he edits and scripts and all this nonsense. But then when it's time to do the dance, he's nowhere to be seen. Now, again, I'm not a fighter. I can't speak in terms of like, hey, can I compare it personally what I would do in this situation? I can't. But what I can point out, and what we can all point out as fans of the sport and just human beings, is the hypocrisy here. And it's just really frustrating. And I'm sure it's very frustrating for Ian. I guarantee you him and his family have gone through some really tough times with the bullying that Colby has done. And the one satisfaction that you can have from all the nonsense he's had to endure is actually being able to fight him. That's the beauty of this game, is you can settle the beef, you can settle the disagreements, you can settle all the trash talk once and for all in the octagon. And Colby has robbed him of that. So why do all this nonsense? Why talk all the smack? Why attack his family, which most fighters wouldn't even do? And most fighters call that out of bounds. Why do all of that and then run, and just simply refuse to fight him? So it's just really disappointing. I just want to make this once again to hammer home that point. Think about who you're calling the duck. Think about who is the real duck. It's not Jon Jones, right? And I again, if Jon Jones does in fact fight Tom Aspinall, I think everybody needs to take back those words and those sentiments. It's Colby Covington. Sad to say, and I used to really enjoy Colby Covington fights and his press conference appearances. Even though everything is scripted and it's a persona and it's really, really fake, I used to give Colby credit just because I thought it was like he was playing into it. And people were like, yeah, we know it's fake. You know it's fake, but it's kind of funny, right? Like he had his moments where he would say some kind of humorous things, but like I think it's completely lost its luster just because now he's coming to this point where it feels like he's getting dirtier and dirtier with the trash talk, going more and more personal, but then he's nowhere to be seen. And we saw that with Leon Edwards. He said some horrendous things about Leon, which is just, it wasn't even funny. It was just crossing the lines. And then he had a pretty lackluster performance. And now he's doing this to Ian Garry. He's not even fighting him. So anyways, those are my 2 cents. I guess Colby will be seeing Joaquin Buckley in the 7th layer of hair, to just a throwback from the Leon Edwards press conference. But yeah, it's really disappointing. And I wish Ian Garry all the best. By the way, I'm starting to think that Ian Garry is going to pull this off and beat Shavkat. He's got a lot of confidence, and he's very, very skilled, very, very intelligent fighter. I think he's got a good team around him now. He's training, I believe, in Chutabox in Brazil with Charles Oliveira. So he's found a home there, and it seems like he's really thriving. So let's see. It would be incredible, dude. If Ian Garry pulls this off, this will be complete insanity. Will the UFC let him turn around if he comes out without many injuries to go and fight Colby? Nah, I mean, I doubt it, because I assume the bout agreement's already been signed, unless there's like an injury on Joaquin's side or something like that. Probably not going to happen, but that would be amazing. That would be absolutely incredible. So anyways, there you guys go. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you did like this video, make sure to click that like button. If you want to see more from the 10-7 MMA show, make sure to click subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.